The autumn wind whipped through Central Park like a ghost from forgotten yesterdays, carrying whispers of lost loves and shattered dreams. Eleanor Hawthorne, her frail hands clutching a worn leather purse, locked eyes with the young violinist under the ancient oak tree, her voice trembling as she uttered the words that would unravel the threads of time. "Play the song that broke my heart 60 years ago," she said, and in that moment, the bustling world around them faded into silence, leaving only the promise of melody to bridge the chasm between past and present. The violinist, a lanky 20-something named Alex with tousled hair and a patched-up coat, paused mid-note, his bow hovering above the strings. He had seen all kinds in the park: joggers tossing coins, children clapping, lovers stealing kisses, but this woman, with her eyes like storm clouds heavy with unshed rain, stirred something deep within him. "Ma'am, what's the song?" he asked gently, setting aside his tip jar as if the universe had conspired for this encounter. Eleanor leaned on her cane, the wood polished smooth from decades of support, and whispered, "Moonlight Sonata." But not just any version, the one that echoes with regret. As Alex drew his bow across the strings, the first haunting notes filled the air, wrapping around Eleanor's soul like an old lover's embrace. Memories flooded in unbidden. The dance hall in 1965, where she had met Robert, his uniform crisp from the war he was about to leave for, their laughter mingling with Beethoven's melody under dim lights. Back then, Eleanor was Ellie, a vibrant girl of 19 with dreams as vast as the ocean. Robert had swept her off her feet that night, promising forever in a world teetering on the edge of chaos. They danced until dawn, the sonata playing on a scratchy record player, sealing their love in notes that seemed eternal. But war has a way of devouring promises. Robert shipped out to Vietnam the next week, leaving Ellie with a ring and a heart full of hope. As Alex played, Eleanor's mind wandered to the letters that arrived sporadically, each one a lifeline in the storm. "I hear the sonata in my dreams," Robert wrote once, "and it brings me back to you." She clung to those words through sleepless nights, knitting scarves for soldiers and praying for peace. But then the telegram came cold, impersonal words on yellow paper, missing in action, presumed dead. The music swelled, and tears traced silent paths down Eleanor's wrinkled cheeks. Around them, park-goers slowed their steps, drawn by the raw emotion in the air. A young mother with a stroller paused, her baby cooing softly. An old man on a bench nodded knowingly, as if he too carried ghosts. Alex poured his soul into the performance, sensing the weight of the request, his fingers dancing with a fervor he didn't know he possessed. Eleanor remembered the years that followed, empty, echoing years. She threw herself into work, becoming a teacher, shaping young minds as a way to fill the void. Marriages came and went for her friends, but Ellie remained steadfast, loyal to a memory. "He's out there," she'd tell herself, scanning newspapers for POW lists, attending memorials where widows shared stories like battle scars. Decades blurred into one another. Children she taught grew up, had families of their own, sometimes sending cards that read, "You changed my life, Miss Hawthorne." Yet, the sonata remained her secret torment, played only in the quiet of her apartment on rainy nights. Now, in the park, with this stranger's violin breathing life into it, the pain felt fresh, yet cathartic. Alex transitioned into the second movement, the notes lighter, almost hopeful. Eleanor closed her eyes, picturing Robert's smile, the way his hand fit perfectly in hers. What if he had survived? What if fate had been kinder? The questions haunted her, but today, they brought a strange peace. As the music built to its crescendo, a jogger stopped nearby, breathing heavily. He was in his 40s, fit and unassuming, but his eyes widened at the sight of Eleanor. "Grandma," he murmured, but she didn't hear, lost in the melody. The twist came unexpectedly when the jogger approached, his voice cutting through the notes. "That's my grandmother," he said to Alex, who faltered slightly but continued. The man, Eleanor's grandson Michael, had been running his usual loop, never expecting to find her here, immersed in a performance that mirrored the stories she'd told him as a child. Michael knelt beside her, taking her hand. "Gran, what are you doing out here alone?" Eleanor opened her eyes, surprise mingling with joy. "Michael, darling. I needed to hear it again." He smiled, tears in his own eyes. knowing the song's significance from bedtime tales of lost love. The music faded, and applause erupted from the small crowd that had gathered. Alex bowed awkwardly, but his gaze lingered on Eleanor. "That was for you," he said. She nodded, whispering, "Thank you. You've given an old woman a gift." As the sun dipped lower, casting golden hues over the park, Eleanor felt a shift. The song that had broken her now mended something deep inside, reminding her that love, even lost, leaves an indelible mark. Michael helped her stand, linking arms as they walked away, the violinist's melody echoing in their hearts. But the day held more surprises. As they strolled, Michael confessed, "Gran, I've been researching Grandpa Robert. There's new information declassified files. He might not have died like they said." Eleanor's heart skipped, the world tilting once more. Michael's words hung in the air like the final notes of the sonata, lingering and unresolved. Eleanor's steps faltered on the leaf-strewn path, her cane digging into the soft earth as she turned to face her grandson. "What do you mean, he might not have died?" she asked, her voice a fragile whisper against the rustling wind. Michael guided her to a nearby bench, the same one where she'd sat moments before the music began. He pulled out his phone, fingers trembling as he scrolled through emails. "I've been working with a veterans group. They uncovered records from a POW camp, names, dates. Robert Hawthorne is listed, but there's no death certificate. Just vanished after 72. Eleanor's mind reeled, decades of acceptance crumbling like dry leaves. She had built a life on the foundation of loss, teaching generations about resilience, about moving forward. Now, at 84, the possibility of truth upended everything. "Why now?" she murmured, staring at the screen where a grainy photo showed a young Robert, so alive, so hers. As they sat, the park came alive around them, children laughing on swings, dogs chasing frisbees, couples sharing secrets. Yet Eleanor felt isolated in a bubble of what-ifs. Michael explained further, his voice steady but laced with emotion. "I didn't want to get your hopes up until I had more. But after seeing you with that musician, it felt like a sign." Flashbacks assaulted her. The day she received the ring back from the army, a hollow token. The nights she cried into her pillow, muffling sobs so her parents wouldn't hear. The decision to adopt a child years later, Michael's mother, to create family from ashes. "I've lived without him," she said, but the words tasted like lies. Alex, the violinist, packed his instrument nearby, overhearing snippets. He approached hesitantly, cap in hand. "Sorry to intrude, but that song. It means something big, doesn't it?" Michael nodded, and Eleanor, in a surge of openness, shared the bare bones of her story. Alex's eyes widened. "My grandfather was in Vietnam too. He talked about a guy named Rob saved his life once. Said he had a girl back home named Ellie." The coincidence hit like lightning, a twist that spun the narrative anew. Eleanor gasped, clutching her purse. "What was your grandfather's name?" Alex replied, "James Riley. He passed last year, but he left journals." The young musician promised to dig them out, offering his number with an earnest smile. As dusk fell, Michael walked Eleanor home to her cozy brownstone, the city lights twinkling like distant stars. Inside, she brewed tea, hands steady despite the turmoil. "Tell me everything you've found," she insisted, and Michael obliged, spreading documents on the table. The files painted a picture of chaos, ambushes, captures, secret relocations. Robert had been in a camp, then reportedly escaped during a raid, but records ended there. He could have amnesia, or started over, Michael suggested. Eleanor touched a faded photo, Robert's eyes staring back, full of promise. That night, sleep evaded her. Dreams intertwined with memories, the sonata playing as they kissed goodbye at the train station, his whisper, "Wait for me." She had waited, in her way, but life demanded movement. The next morning, Alex texted, "Found the journals. Meeting at the park." Eleanor agreed, heart pounding. Michael drove her, the car ride filled with tense silence. At the oak tree, Alex waited with a weathered notebook. Reading aloud, Alex's voice cracked. Rob talked endlessly about Ellie. Said if he made it out, he'd find her through the music, their song. Tears flowed freely now, Eleanor's and Michael's mingling. But the twist deepened when Alex revealed a photo tucked in the pages. James and Robert, arms around each other, post-escape. They made it to a village, but Rob was injured bad. James left him with locals to get help, but when he returned, Rob was gone, taken by aid workers, maybe. Hope ignited, fierce and frightening. Eleanor felt alive in a way she hadn't since youth. "We have to find him," she declared, her voice strong. Michael nodded, determination etched on his face. "We'll search databases, contact embassies. You're not alone in this, Gran." As they parted, the park seemed transformed a place of beginnings, not just echoes. Eleanor hummed the sonata softly, its notes now a beacon rather than a lament. Yet, doubts crept in. What if Robert had moved on, built another life? The human heart is resilient, but fragile. Still, the pursuit itself held value, a testament to enduring love. Days blurred into research marathons. Michael quit his job temporarily, diving into archives. Eleanor shared stories she'd buried, bonding deeper with her grandson. One evening, a call came from a Vietnam vet organization. "We have a lead, a man in California, same name, same birth date." Eleanor's breath caught. Could it be? The phone call echoed in Eleanor's mind like a distant thunderclap, promising storm or salvation. "He's in a nursing home near San Francisco," the voice said. "Goes by Rob Hayes now, but the details match." Her hands shook as she hung up, the world sharpening into focus after years of blur. Michael booked flights immediately, his excitement tempered by caution. "We don't know for sure, Gran. But if it is him." Eleanor nodded, packing her suitcase with care, the old ring, a photo album, and a recording of the sonata on her phone. The journey west felt like stepping into a dream. The planes hummed a lullaby of anticipation. Arriving in California, the air was warmer, scented with ocean and eucalyptus. The nursing home was a quiet haven, gardens blooming with vibrant flowers that contrasted Eleanor's inner turmoil. At the reception, a kind nurse led them to room 112. "He's had a rough gamamori issues, but he's sharp on good days." Pushing open the door, Eleanor's heart leaped. There, by the window, sat a man with silver hair, gazing at the sea. His face, lined by time, held echoes of the boy she'd loved, the same gentle eyes, the scar on his cheek from childhood. "Robert," she whispered, stepping forward. He turned slowly, confusion flickering, then recognition dawning like sunrise. "Ellie? Is that really you?" Tears cascaded as they embraced, decades dissolving in an instant. "I thought you were gone," she sobbed. "They said missing, presumed." Robert held her tight, his voice raspy. "I was captured, escaped, but hit my head. Woke up with no memory, just fragments. Aid workers gave me a new name, new life. But the song, I dreamed of the song." Michael watched from the doorway, his own eyes misty. He had orchestrated this reunion, but seeing it unfold stirred profound emotions, gratitude for persistence, awe at love's endurance. As they talked, stories poured out. Robert had wandered, eventually settling in California, working as a mechanic, marrying briefly but divorcing when memories teased at the edges. "I had a daughter," he revealed, "but she passed young. Cancer." Sorrow etched his words, a shared pain binding them. Eleanor introduced Michael, explaining her life, the teaching, the adoption, the family she'd built. "I never stopped loving you," she confessed. Robert smiled. "Nor I you. The sonata was my anchor, even when I didn't know why." But a twist emerged unexpectedly. The nurse returned with a visitor, Alex, the violinist from the park. "I flew out when Michael called," he explained, violin case in hand. "Grandpa's journals led here to mention Rob settling west." Alex played the sonata in the garden, notes weaving through the air, drawing residents and staff. Robert and Eleanor danced slowly, steps hesitant but hearts aligned. Michael filmed it, capturing the magic for posterity. Yet, reality intruded. Robert's health was fragile, dementia loomed, stealing moments. "I may forget again," he warned. Eleanor squeezed his hand. "Then I'll remind you every day." They spent weeks there, rebuilding bridges. Michael bonded with Robert, hearing war tales that explained his grandfather's silence. "You saved lives," Michael said. Robert shrugged. "We all did what we had to." One afternoon, a letter arrived from Vietnam, a former villager, tracked via the journals, confirming Robert's stay and recovery. It included a photo, young Robert, healing, humming a tune. He spoke of Ellie. The note read. Emotion swelled, human values shining through, forgiveness for time lost, appreciation for second chances. Eleanor reflected on her life, realizing the pain had shaped her compassion, her teaching touching countless souls. As departure neared, Robert asked, "Stay with me?" But Eleanor had roots in New York, students' grandchildren still visiting. "We'll visit often," she promised, "and the song will connect us." Michael suggested technology video calls, shared playlists. "Love adapts," he said wisely. On the flight home, Eleanor felt transformed, the weight of regret lifted. The sonata played in her headphones, now a symphony of hope. Back in the park, she met Alex again. "Thank you for the music," she said. He grinned. It was fate. Life resumed, enriched. Eleanor volunteered at veteran centers, sharing her story to inspire. Michael wrote a book, chronicling the reunion. Yet, whispers of doubt remained. What if memory faded completely? But love, she knew, transcended recall. Months later, a package arrived. Robert's recording of the sonata, his voice overlaying, "For my Ellie, forever." The recording played on loop in Eleanor's apartment, Robert's voice a balm against the encroaching winter chill. "I play this for you, Ellie, across the miles," he said before the notes began, his violin steady despite age. She listened daily, bridging the distance with melody. Visits became routine flights every other month, Michael often joining. In San Francisco, they created new memories. Walks on the beach, where Robert shared forgotten anecdotes. Picnics in the garden, laughter echoing. Quiet evenings poring over old letters Eleanor had saved. But health's fragility introduced tension. Robert's dementia progressed subtly. At first misplaced names, repeated stories, then more starkly. One visit, he greeted her as a stranger, eyes blank. "Who are you?" he asked, shattering her anew. Eleanor held back tears, playing the sonata on her phone. Slowly, recognition returned. "Ellie." The dance hall. Relief washed over, but the incident underscored time's cruelty. "We must cherish now," she told Michael. A surprising ally emerged, Sarah, a young aide at the home, who revealed her own loss of fiancé in Afghanistan. "Your story gives me hope," she said, volunteering to record Robert's lucid moments. Sarah became a pen pal, sending videos that kept the connection alive. Twist upon twist, Sarah uncovered a hidden talent. She sang, her voice ethereal. One video featured her duetting with Robert on folk songs from his youth, infusing joy. Eleanor responded with baked goods and letters, forming an unlikely friendship that highlighted intergenerational bonds. Back home, Eleanor faced her own challenges. A fall in the park, ironic, under the same oak, resulted in a broken hip. Hospitalized, she reflected on mortality, the sonata her companion. Michael stayed by her side. "You're the strongest person I know, Gran." Recovery was slow, physical therapy grueling, but Robert's calls motivated her. "Walk for me, Ellie," he'd say, his voice crackling over the line. She did, cane in hand, determination fueling each step. The human element shone in small acts. Neighbors bringing meals, former students visiting with flowers. "You taught us empathy," one said. Eleanor realized her life, though marked by loss, had rippled outward, touching many. As spring bloomed, they planned a grand reunion, Robert flying east, with Sarah assisting. The park would host, Alex performing. Invitations went to veterans, family, friends, a celebration of resilience. The day arrived crisp and clear. Under the oak, a crowd gathered. Robert, wheelchair-bound but spirited, held Eleanor's hand. 60 years later, and here we are, he marveled. Alex played the sonata, Sarah singing harmonies. Emotions peaked, tears, applause, hugs. Michael proposed a toast. To love that endures, to songs that heal. But drama struck. Midway, Robert clutched his chest, pain etching his face. Paramedics rushed in, the crowd parting. Hospital-bound, Eleanor rode with him, whispering, "Stay with me." Tests revealed a minor heart episode, treatable. In recovery, Robert joked, couldn't miss the finale. Relief brought deeper appreciation. Post-incident, they decided on cohabitation, Eleanor moving west, Michael helping transition. "Home is where you are," she told Robert. Settling in California, life found rhythm. Mornings with coffee and stories, afternoons in the garden, evenings with music. Sarah became family, her presence a bridge to youth. Eleanor's reflections turned philosophical. Loss teaches value. Twists reveal strength. love's persistence a universal truth. She journaled, perhaps for a sequel to Michael's book. One twilight, as the sonata played, Robert said, "Thank you for finding me." Eleanor replied, "We found each other." The story, once of heartbreak, evolved into one of redemption, proving that even in twilight years, new chapters await. Humanity's core connection, forgiveness, hope prevailed. As seasons cycled, their bond deepened, a testament to enduring spirit.